Hey guys, welcome back to Law Creations. I figured I'd do a video. We'll paint up the shield that I had sculpted out of Milliput for my for one of my figures. And I figured I'd just show you a couple things that I do when I go ahead and paint, and just some odds and ends, what paints I'm using, and so let's get started. So let's see. I base coated the shield in my Mod Podge water and black acrylic paint. So it's all sealed. It's been a couple hours now. You don't usually have to wait for it that long to dry, but that was how long it took me to get back to painting. So let's see. I'm using a couple cheap. I'm going to use dark brown as a base coat over the black. And then I'll come in with a lighter golden brown. And these are Nicole Craft Studio paints. They're paints that I picked up at AC Moore, and they're like 57 cents for one full bottle. So I do use it on my dioramas and different props. I don't use these on custom action figures. Some people may and get good results, but I like to use the quality Reaper Series, P3, Vallejo, Citadel. I like to use that style paint on my customs. But these are perfect for dioramas and perfect for the shield I'm going to paint up. So, and then I have a couple of decent paints that I'm going to use on the metal pots. I'm going to do a base coat of old bronze. This is a Reaper Master Series paints. It's old bronze. It gives a nice bronze aged look to metal. And then I'm going to come in with this here is Scorched Metal, which is a real nice paint. And I'll do a little odds and ends of a dry brush on that. But so what I did as well when I start painting is I make myself a wet palette, which I have here. And it's just got I don't need a lot of paint because the piece is small. But the wet palette prevents my acrylics from drying out. So the wet palette is very simple. It's very effective to not waste paint. And if I close this up and I come back to it in a couple days, those paints, even though they're acrylic, they should still be pliable and easy to use. But how do I make a wet palette? You need some parchment paper. All you need is parchment paper, which I picked this up at the dollar store. It's just parchment paper and some paper towel. So on the top here is the parchment paper. That's what I'm using as my my top of the surface, and below it is I don't know if you guys can see it here. Below it is the paper towel, and you just get the paper towel nice and wet. And then you lay your parchment on top of the paper towel to where it looks like this, nice and wet and moist. And you're good to go. You got yourself a wet palette. So during this whole session, even though it's a small piece, it'll be quick. But none of this paint will dry out. It'll stay nice and easy to use. So that's just a tip. A wet palette is really nice when you're using acrylics. So that's what I do. So let's get painting. So like I say, I did primer them up in my black, and I'm going to do a pretty good coat of the brown. Just going over. I'm not too concerned about getting it on anywhere else. And I just go over it lightly as like a little dry brush. But not so much a dry brush because my paint is a little wet, which is fine. So, but that's giving you the idea that's coming through there. And I just take my time. I just go around, and I don't want to blob the brown on because I want the black to show through as well. Just for to give it the depth. So, but I'm gonna add some more paint to this. But we'll just go around to where you think it looks halfway decent. And I just like this. So, but like I say, my favorite part of customizing is painting. I really like to paint. When I years ago when I first started, just wanting a hobby and wanting to do stuff, just to wind down and relax. I took up painting, drawing, and I was okay at it. I could paint, I could draw a little bit, but nothing crazy. And then things went into, I realized you can customize action figures, and I had tons of action figures hanging around. So I just had a ball customizing them, and I over the years I got okay with it. And then I got into diorama making, and so on and so on. And it just I'm never happy with just doing one thing. I like experimenting, checking things out, and seeing what works. But there's the brown. That's just I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna go a little bit heavier just to because this paint you have to do. The reason why it's so cheap is the pigments aren't as it's not as pigmented as other paints, I would guess. I guess it's more watered down. So the only downside is it does take more. It takes more times to more layers, I should say. And you'll see the difference when I go into the Master Series with the bronze and the scorch metal. So there's the brown. We're gonna go with that, and I'm gonna do the scorch metal while that dries, and then we'll come in with the lighter brown on the woodwork. So let's go ahead and do the bronze. So I just cleaned my brush with some water, and these Master Series paints are really nice. I think you'll see the difference of coverage. So right now I'm applying the Master Series, and you can definitely right off the bat see the difference in coverage right there. That right there is the old bronze, which is a really nice for an old kind of look. And obviously you're gonna do the the sides. I'm not too concerned about the back because nobody's gonna see the back of the shield but me. So, but yeah, these Reaper Master Series paints are really nice. They come in all different colors. They have a very big collection choice of paints that you can pick from, and they also have the line triads. And if you saw my video on the flesh tone triad, you'll know that those are nice as well. There's just different shades for your painting. And they already come pre-mixed, and I really if you saw my video, that particular flesh color is a really nice flesh color. I use that on 90% of my my customs. Sorry guys, I'm off the camera there. Painting and talking on video is a little difficult, but this is an easy piece to paint, so I'm not too concerned about it. But I just want to make sure you guys can see it okay. So I just got done watching the Defenders on Netflix. I enjoyed it. It was a pretty good series. I'd like to see where they're gonna go with it. I really liked the Elektra's character in it, being the Dark Sky. I thought that was pretty cool, and Daredevil's love for her and how he went to full extent to try to save her. And I thought overall it was pretty good. I liked it a lot better than Iron Fist. I didn't like Iron Fist even remotely. It just seemed like something that they just threw together to fill in the story, and didn't give it much time. But anyway, let's see. Here's the brown with the old bronze. We're gonna let the old bronze dry, and now that brown should be dry, and we're gonna come in with a lighter brown dry brush. So let me just clean my brush, dry it up really good, and let's see what we can do with the brown. So like I say, we're not gonna go too crazy. We're just gonna gently go over it. But it's not necessarily a dry brush, but it's just a really light touch of you're being very, the idea is to be very deliberate with your paint. Like, don't just slap it on there, but have, go against the grain so you can get the grain. You don't want it, you want the grain and the sculpt to come out in what you're painting. And that's the idea behind it. So, but yeah, so that's kind of the idea. I hope it comes through on video because it looks nice in person. And my lighting isn't, the greatest down here. When I threw my YouTube channel together, it was more or less just to show some of my work, give you guys some ideas and some things to do. But I never thought, I would paint, on camera and show you different things. But that's how things evolve, and that's just trying to show you what can be done if you take your time and just paint. So right now we're going to go ahead and do the Scotch Metal over the old bronze. And this again is Master Series paint. It's Reapers. And it's just going over it, not completely, but a little bit. And especially in here. Over here. Just to give it a little different accent. They're kind of similar colors. So it doesn't necessarily really show that great. But it will show once everything's dry. And it shows a lot better in person. If you guys, hopefully it shows on camera, but like I say, guys, use good quality paints on your customs. You won't be sorry. If you're on a budget and you don't have any other choice, go ahead and use the craft paint on them. It's just gonna probably take you more layers to do. That's all, and it might be a little more prone to paint rub. So, I mean, you get paint rub with no matter what paint you use, but you'll get it especially with the cheap craft paint. So it's good to spend a little bit. It's good to spend a little bit extra on your paints for your customs, because in the end you'll be glad you did. So we are definitely going to do a dry brush now on the brown. So I'm just going to grab a different brush. And we'll do a quick little dry brush, just to show you the idea of dry brushing. So I just take it, I wipe most of it off, and now we're going to come in as such, just to give it a different lighter color, and so it accentuates a little bit. It kind of sticks out. That's all. So you just want to do different layers. You want to be light with your colors. Obviously, your primer you want full coverage, and then your next layer, you want decent coverage, but not complete coverage, because you want some of the lines to come through. If you can see the sculpting, you want to keep all that, preserve all that. I kind of got some in there. And then all the little wood sculpting that you did, you want that to show as well. So if you're too heavy-handed with your paint, all of that's going to fill in with paint, and you won't get that nice wood effect that you spent some time working on. So that's the idea of painting this up. So let's do a little more lighter, just in certain areas. And I could come in with a third lighter paint, and I may at a later time. But I just want to show you my process and what I do. And this is pretty much done, guys. I may go in and do a little bit of a different color here and there, but that gives you the idea. That's kind of what you're looking for. You want to accentuate your sculpt work. You want the wood grain to show, and you don't want to be too heavy-handed on your paint. So, all right. I hope you guys like this video. Please like, subscribe, comment with just different things you'd like me to go over. Okay, guys, I appreciate the comments and I appreciate the likes. You guys enjoy your night and have a good one.